You might think it's just a little snack before bed, something to keep you satisfied, maybe even help you fall asleep. Maybe it's a glass of juice, a slice of cheese, a piece of toast. But what if I told you that for people over 60, those small habits might be doing more harm than good? What if those innocent evening choices are silently keeping your heart too alert, your brain too foggy, and your body too inflamed to actually rest? That's exactly what we're talking about tonight on Elderly Reflections, where we share real-life stories, senior health tips, and elderly wisdom that's helped thousands of people reclaim their energy, clarity, and peace of mind. Because if you're over 60, every choice matters more, especially the ones you make after sunset. Now, before we jump in, do me a favor. If you care about stories like these, motivation, quotes, and inspiration drawn straight from life lessons from the elderly, take a second to hit like, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment. Where are you watching from? I want to know, are you in Canada, Ireland, Texas, Naples? Let's start the conversation together. Let me introduce you to someone I once met at a small health talk in Devon, England. Her name was Martha, 74 years old, gentle voice, silver gray hair tied back neatly, the kind of woman whose presence made a room feel calmer. She'd been eating clean most of her life, walked daily, slept on time, but for about 9 months she struggled. Night after night, her sleep grew lighter, more interrupted. She'd wake at 2 or 3 a.m. with her heart racing, sometimes drenched in sweat, sometimes with this sense that something was just off. Her doctor said it was stress. Her neighbors said it was aging, but Martha wasn't ready to accept that. Not yet. That's when her grandson, a young med student, came to visit, and what he saw changed everything. Each night before bed, Martha poured herself a tall glass of orange juice. That's it. No wine, no dessert, just juice. She believed it helped her digestion and gave her vitamin C. But what she didn't realize? That sweet, acidic drink was spiking her blood sugar before bed, triggering a rapid drop just a few hours later. That crash activated cortisol and adrenaline in the middle of the night, and her heart responded like it was running a marathon in her sleep. The first food seniors should avoid before bed after 60 is citrus juice, especially orange juice. Now I know it sounds healthy, it's fruit, right? But here's the science. As we age, our glucose metabolism slows down. That means sugars, even the natural kind, hit our system harder, stay longer, and cause more internal chaos. Combine that with the fact that citrus is acidic, and you're looking at a double whammy for your digestion and nervous system. A 2020 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who consumed high glycemic drinks within 90 minutes of bedtime had significantly more disrupted sleep and higher overnight cortisol levels. Martha's grandson suggested a simple switch. Instead of orange juice, warm lemon balm tea, no caffeine, no sugar. In 3 weeks, Martha was sleeping through the night like she hadn't in years. And here's what she told me when I met her months later. I thought orange juice was helping me rest, but it was waking me up from the inside out. That's what we mean when we talk about elderly reflections. Those small, everyday habits we trust without question, until one day we learn better. Now let's talk about Paul, 69 years old, retired engineer from Wisconsin. Paul's routine was simple. Brush his teeth, turn off the TV, slice up some cheddar cheese, grab a few crackers, and sit by the fireplace. Nothing heavy, just something to take the edge off before bed. But over time, Paul started experiencing something strange. Restless legs, nightmares, vivid, confusing dreams. He'd wake up feeling exhausted. His blood pressure was spiking at odd hours. He couldn't figure it out. He even tried sleep meds, but they made things worse. Finally, a sleep nutritionist looked at his evening routine. One thing stood out: the cheese. Specifically, aged cheese. Cheddar, brie, blue cheese. These aren't just dairy. They're rich in tyramine, a natural amino acid that actually stimulates the brain and releases norepinephrine, which is basically like pressing the gas pedal on your nervous system. Exactly what you don't want when your body is trying to slow down and rest. This isn't anecdotal. A study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that tyramine-rich foods before bed were linked to increased nocturnal brain activity and reduced REM sleep in adults over 65. Food number 2 to avoid: aged cheese, especially if you're already dealing with high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, or poor sleep quality. Paul switched his evening snack to a few slices of turkey, high in tryptophan, which actually promotes sleep, and a spoonful of cottage cheese instead. 2 weeks later, no more leg twitching, no more wild dreams. He told me, I always thought cheese was my comfort. Turns out, it was my chaos. Now that's elderly wisdom, and it's exactly why we're having this conversation. So now I want you to take a pause and reflect. What do you reach for in the last hour of your day? Is it helping you rest or quietly hijacking your sleep without you even knowing? Juice and cheese might feel innocent, even familiar, but for seniors, especially those over 60, these foods become something else entirely when the lights go off and your body goes into recovery mode. And there's one more food I want to talk about, one that almost every senior I know has in their home. It's not sweet, it's not dairy, but it's far worse than you think. And it might be the biggest reason your brain feels sluggish every morning. But I'll tell you about that in the next section, because I want you to really let this sink in first. Don't skip ahead. Think about Martha. Think about Paul. Think about the quiet battles our elders fight every night. The kind we don't talk about. The kind we dismiss as normal aging. What if they're not normal? What if they're fixable? If you believe stories like these matter, if you believe in honoring senior health, life lessons from the elderly, and the wisdom that comes from living through decades of change, then you're in the right place. Click like, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and don't forget to tell me in the comments where you're watching from tonight, because this is more than content. This is community, this is connection, and we're just getting started. Let's go back to that final question from the previous section. What's the third food nearly every senior has in their home that might be doing far more damage than you realize? I'll give you a hint. It's salty, it's crispy, it's easy to reach for while watching TV or reading the paper. And for many seniors over 60, it's become more than a snack. It's a habit. I'm talking about crackers and refined carbs. Now, before you roll your eyes or think, come on, it's just a few crackers, hear me out. This one surprised even me. Because unlike juice or cheese, crackers seem so innocent. They don't feel heavy. They don't seem sweet. But these tiny squares are like sugar in disguise. White flour, processed oils, and preservatives combine into a food that spikes insulin, raises blood pressure, and keeps your body from entering deep sleep. And the worst part? You don't feel the effect right away. You just wake up groggy, sluggish, maybe even with swelling in your fingers or ankles. And you think, that's just age. But what if it isn't? Let me tell you about Harold. 77 years old, a retired musician from Vancouver. Harold was one of those guys you instantly liked. Quick with a joke, always had music playing in the background, and could talk to anyone about anything. But when it came to sleep, Harold was in a losing battle. He'd fall asleep fine, but every single night without fail, he'd wake up around 3 a.m, wide-eyed and anxious. It felt like a switch flipped in his brain, and he couldn't turn it off. Now Harold tried everything: meditation, melatonin, even counting backwards from 100 by sevens. Nothing worked. It wasn't until his granddaughter, a clinical nutritionist, visited and looked at his evening routine. That's when she noticed the bowl on his nightstand. Crackers. Just a handful, he said. They calm me down. But they were doing the opposite. She explained how processed carbs trigger insulin spikes that dip suddenly, and when your blood sugar drops at night, the body responds with cortisol. That's the stress hormone. That's what woke him up. So food number 3 to avoid? Processed carbs like crackers, white bread, or pretzels before bed. Not only do they mess with your blood sugar, they also raise inflammation levels, which has been directly linked to poor sleep and early cognitive decline in seniors. Harvard Health published a study in 2022 showing that seniors with high nighttime glycemic loads, that's a fancy way of saying sugar from starches, had more than a 40% increase in insomnia symptoms. Harold was stunned. He tossed the crackers, switched to a light protein, sometimes half a hard-boiled egg, sometimes just a chamomile tea with a spoon of collagen powder. Within a week, he was sleeping 6, sometimes 7 hours straight. For the first time in years, I didn't need a new mattress, he said. I needed a new mindset. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? After 60, it's not about perfection. It's not about being a health saint. It's about wisdom, about learning what your body's really trying to tell you. That's what makes Elderly Reflections so powerful. They remind us that change is always possible, that our daily choices matter, especially the small ones, and that sometimes the healing we need doesn't come from a pill, it comes from a pause, a question, a story. So now we've talked about 3 common bedtime enemies: citrus juice, aged cheese, and refined carbs like crackers. And if any of these sound familiar, that's okay. You're not alone. In fact, I'd say 90% of the seniors I speak to every month eat at least one of these in the evenings. But that's the beauty of awareness. Once you know better, you can do better. Now let me tell you about a couple I met last spring. Walter and Irene. Married 52 years, they live just outside of Milan, Italy. Both in their early 80s. Walter's a retired pharmacist. Irina was a school teacher. And despite their age, Irene smiled and said, "We eat simply, we sleep deeply, and we never go to bed angry or hungry." Then Walter leaned in and added something I'll never forget. "We don't eat to sleep, we eat to heal." I asked them what that meant, and they explained that after 70, they started seeing food differently. Not just as calories or flavor, but as medicine. Every night, they followed the same bedtime ritual. A light herbal tea, a few almonds, sometimes a slice of turkey or sauce. No sugar, no salt, no drama. Just calm, nourishment, and gratitude. That's what I want you to take from this. That healing doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be intentional. You can trade juice for lemon balm tea, trade cheese for turkey slices, trade crackers for Greek yogurt or a small handful of pumpkin seeds. You're not giving things up. You're giving yourself the gift of clarity, of steadiness, of rest. Because the truth is, senior health isn't just about numbers. It's about how you feel when you wake up. Do you feel clear or foggy, energized or drained? Do you feel like your heart is resting or racing? The answers start with what's on your plate. Not at breakfast, not at lunch, but in that quiet hour before bed, when your body is begging for support, not sabotage. So let me ask you, what's your nighttime ritual? What are you still holding on to, even if it's not serving you? And what small change could you try tonight, just for 1 week, just to see how you feel? If this story, or any part of it, spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what bedtime food do you want to change first? And where are you watching from tonight? I truly mean that. Because the more we share, the more we all learn. This is a space for elderly reflections, life lessons from the elderly, and quotes and wisdom that aren't just inspiring, they're useful. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that little bell so you never miss a story that might change how you sleep, how you eat, and how you feel. And stay with me, because in the next section, we're going to take everything we've learned and build a new evening routine together. I'll show you how to combine these insights into something simple, powerful, and deeply restorative. The kind of change that helps you sleep well, think clearly, and maybe, just maybe, feel like yourself again. Because no matter your age, your body still wants to heal, and it can. All it needs is the right support. There's something sacred about the last hour of the day, especially when you're older. The phone has stopped ringing, the television goes quiet, the world slows down. And in that stillness, your body, if given the right care, begins the quiet work of restoration. Not just rest, not just sleep, but healing. And yet too often that hour is stolen by habit, by old routines, by foods we never questioned. That's why we've spent the last 2 sections peeling back the curtain on what's really happening after dark. Citrus juice, aged cheese, processed carbs, foods that seem harmless but can disrupt your sleep, spike your blood sugar, raise your blood pressure, and make you feel like you've aged 5 years overnight. But the question now is this: what do we do with that knowledge? That's what this section's all about. It's time to create something better. A ritual, a rhythm, a way to reclaim your night with the quiet power of intention. Let me introduce you to George, 82 years old, a retired dentist from Vermont. Sharp as a tack even now. But after his wife passed, George started skipping dinner. Then came the crackers, the cereal, the late-night coffee, and soon after, the sleeplessness. He told me one day, "I just stopped caring. At my age, why bother?" That one sentence, I never forgot it. Because it's not just about food, it's about how we value ourselves, even when the world seems to slow down. But here's what happened next, and this might stay with you too. His daughter, a nurse practitioner, moved in for a few weeks to help him recover from a minor surgery. She didn't criticize him, didn't push, but she quietly rebuilt his evening routine at a time. Every night at 8:30, she prepared a tray for him. A small bowl of Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts, and a mug of warm turmeric milk. Nothing fancy, but everything intentional. Within a month, George was sleeping deeper. He woke up steady, his memory sharpened, and one morning as he poured his own turmeric milk, he looked at his daughter and said, "I feel like a man again." That's what's possible when we choose nourishment over noise. And that's what I want for you. So let's build your evening routine. Not something complicated, something sustainable, a small act of self-respect, repeated with care. Step 1. Aim to finish your last food intake at least 90 minutes before bed. Not because of calories or weight, but because digestion pulls blood flow away from your brain and heart. If you eat too close to sleep, your body can't do the healing it's designed for. That means if you sleep at 10, stop eating by 8:30. Step 2. Portions. Seniors often oversnack, even on healthy foods. Remember, bedtime is for restoration, not energy. Keep it light and balanced. Here's a guide. Greek yogurt, half a cup. Walnuts, 6 to 8 halves. Blueberries, 1 small handful. Herbal tea, 1 cup, no sugar, no caffeine. That's it. Think of it as your peace offering to your body. Step 3. Avoid the traps. That means saying no to processed carbs. Skip the toast. Skip the sugary granola bars. They raise blood sugar, spike insulin, and leave you drained by morning. Avoid cheese, especially aged varieties. If you want something creamy, switch to cottage cheese or a spoonful of unsweetened nut butter. Say goodbye to Jew. Step 4. The ritual, and this perhaps is the most powerful section. Because food isn't just fuel, it's a message. Every bite says something to your body. I care for you, I still choose you. You're worth the effort. Create a small routine that anchors your night. Turn off the lights early, play soft music, sit in your favorite chair, and slowly enjoy your small tray of healing foods. Don't scroll your phone. This is your time. Light a candle if you want. Write down one thing you're thankful for, or say a prayer, or just sit quietly and breathe. These little rituals, they ground us. They whisper to the body, it's safe now. You can rest. And if you're thinking it's too late, it's not. Let me tell you about Lillian. She's 86, lives in Minnesota. She started watching this channel last year and emailed me saying, I thought I was too old to change, but now I sleep like I'm 60 again, and I remember my dreams. That's not magic. That's nutrition, motivation, and elderly wisdom working together. And don't forget, better sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's about protecting your independence. Seniors who sleep well have better cognitive performance, better blood pressure, more mobility, and fewer medications. That's more mornings spent walking, reading, laughing, not at the doctor's office. So if you've been feeling foggy, forgetful, restless, or just because your evenings are more than hours, there are opportunities to repair, to remember, to renew. Tonight, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. What did I give my body to heal? Was it calming or chaotic? Was it sugar or strength? You don't need to change everything at once. Just start with 1. No crackers, no cheese, no juice. Try a little yogurt, try a warm turmeric tea. Try a moment of stillness and do it for 7 nights. 7. Then see how you feel. Before we close, I want to thank you truly for watching and sharing this time with me. If you found even one helpful idea in this video, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this kind of content. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Elderly Reflections and tap the bell, because we're just getting started. We've got more stories, more life lessons from the elderly, more quotes, more senior health tips, and more powerful reflections ahead. And lastly, I want to hear from you in the comments right now. Tell me, where are you watching from? Whether it's a small town in Michigan, a farm in Ireland, a flat in Berlin, or a villa in Portugal, your voice matters. This is a community built on experience, not perfection. On courage, not youth. And every story you share adds to the wisdom we all carry forward. Because no matter your age, 60, 70, 80 or more, your life still has chapters left to write. And it starts tonight with how you sleep, how you care, and how you choose to love yourself in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. Here's to your heart, here's to your mind, and here's to a new kind of night.